Peace. So this video is completely about energy transfers and the fact that it exists and what you can do to actually tap into it or not tap into it, and the consequences for both. So I'm gonna start on the flip side of things. So let's just say that you have a talent of sewing. You love sewing, you're actually good at it. You may be the only person in your family that's great at it. You do some research, you find out that you had a great-great-grandmother that was a seamstress. She had her own business, she helped people out, she sewed for the family, all of the above. Now, that was passed down to you. There's something that was woven into your essence that gave you the ability to be able to sew the way that you sew. And with that in mind, you have two things that you can do with that. You can either do nothing with it, or you can tap into that and go beyond your family member. And now when you have children, if you decide to have children, they will actually take on where you left off. Now, keep that in mind when it comes to things that you pick up on and you have certain attributes that aren't the best ones. And sometimes the trauma that we deal with, it really isn't your trauma. It's trauma that's been passed down. It's something that occurred that hasn't been addressed and hasn't been nurtured, hasn't been identified. So it just sits there. And if no one takes the time to actually address it, it just continues and continues and continues. So you have that decision to make, whether you're going to actually do nothing with it or you're going to work on it to either to fix it, to make it better than what it's been. But the ball is ultimately in your court. And whatever you do with that, now that's going to get passed on from wherever you left off. So that's why I feel it's really important to exercise some grace when it comes to your family, when it comes to your parents, because there's things that haven't been addressed and they just continue to sit there. Now, everything is not going to be just about the family aspect of it. Sometimes it's environmentally passed down as well, because everyone is different. Some people can feel everything. They're very, very, very sensitive to energy. And if you're a very sensitive person when it comes to energy, you may be someone that's learned how to build up defense mechanisms. So that means you're constantly living in defense mode. That becomes the essence of who you are, and you take that in every situation that you go into, even when you don't necessarily have to. So that's something that came from something that necessarily wasn't always there before, but it's a learned behavior. You adapted to what you had to adapt to survive. So that's something that you need to also pay attention to actually address. And you may address it with Reiki, you may address it with journaling, you may address it with therapy, you may address it with having a creative outlet. Everyone is different, but the most important thing is that it's addressed. So when we think about energy, let's just keep in mind that, again, we are constantly picking up on energy. There's certain things that's already there. And again, it may not be your trauma. It may be something that came from a great-great-great-great-great-grandmother that they never worked out, that's now been passed on and passed on. So now it's up to you, because if you want a particular type of quality of life, you're going to have to put that effort in to address whatever needs to be addressed. So quick video. And again, take some research but do the research when it comes to your lineage, to see and ask questions to see what's been before you, what's happened before you, because it gives you a little bit of, not even a little bit, it gives you a lot of insight on where you are or where your parents are and why certain things have happened, and start to pay attention to your mannerisms in terms of where you are. You know, have you grown to be in a state of survival mode? What does survival mode look like? How does that actually impact you in your everyday life? These are things that we have to take a minute and actually start to digest and pull apart so you can have a better quality of life. And that's it. Peace.